It's Mike and Sean with Talking Tickets, and we have a long-time hardcore ticket collector joining us tonight, Stu Hellman. Stu,
how's it going, boy?
Joining.
Good. It's an honor. It's an honor to finally be on the show. You know,
It is. It's an honor to have. Yeah, I feel like it's an honor to have you. I feel like you're one of the OG ticket collectors. Like when I think of people, kind of hardcore ticket collectors, and I may be wrong. I feel like you've been doing it a long time, and you know what you like. You're not out to be making money. You're out there to 100% collect. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been saving tickets for a while. I always love the idea of saving them and having them, and not really always putting the monetary aspect to it. But that made it kind of hard. Where it's like all of a sudden I had, I was at the draft with Kobe, 96 draft. I was there. I had my ticket, and it's like, wait, I could get that much for it from somebody. It's like, it's hard to sometimes balance that out. But just an example of tickets, that I've been saving for years and years, and somewhere it's just more sentimental to me. Somewhere, it is something historic that other people would want. But I've always loved the idea of capturing that history in the ticket, that an autograph or a baseball card or, other memorabilia doesn't have the same aspect to it. So,
yeah, the story behind it.
Yeah.
Did you, so what, take us back. When did you get started? When did it become a hardcore collection for you?
Probably when I was 20 from 94 Rangers. Not being able to go to the playoff games, I was 20 years old. I mean, I was in the city, games 3 and 4 in Vancouver. They put it on the big screen and they let fans into the Garden for that. So for the Richter penalty shot save against Bury. And so not being able to get to those games because I was only 20, I couldn't afford the scalper prices. Before Game 5, I saw a guy buy 4 tickets for $10,000 cash right on the street in front of me. I've never saw $10,000 cash in my life at that point.
Holy hell!
And the Rangers didn't even clinch that night. They were up 3-1 there. They didn't even end up clinching. But still being in the city for it and stuff like that. So the way that I was still always trying to get the tickets, from people and. And over the years, that's what, one of my favorite things was collecting those, whether it was, the Richter penalty shot save. I got a couple of signed by him, the Mateau goal, Messier Game 6 against the Devils with the hat trick, obviously Game 7 at home. And I think, that's where it's like I started collecting stuff and obviously being a big Messier fan then. And, I was starting to look into like, I want to collect all of his goals, and from going to regular season games, I already had a bunch. So it was easier to start with that. If I start collecting Babe Ruth tickets, I'd have to, go buy what each individual one. But here I had this box of tickets. And I'm like, Messier scoring this one. Messier scoring this one. Here's a hat trick. So I'm like, let me try to get them all. And, I'm probably not even halfway there with them. But, I think that's what started it for me, so.
And what year was that? What time frame? Was that post eBay or?
Yeah. So I want to say yes for when I start getting into them. Yeah, probably like late 90s, early 2000s. I guess I would say. Going to see even see him in the Hall of Fame as last game, knowing like I want to keep those tickets in nice condition, things like that. So probably started more with that, and also over the years I was at other events. I've seen the Stanley Cup won 3 times. I've been into 2 World Series clinchers. I've been to a no-hitter, and knowing at least to keep those tickets, it was always a thing for me. That's why it's so frustrating sometimes. The lengths we have to go to get a ticket sometimes, and it makes me crazy. But especially here in New York with the Yankees, it's one of the toughest places to get a ticket for. And
is it possible? Is it?
I think you get like the suite group thing sometimes. Once in a while, I see them, but it's very hard. And I've been there with the broken phone and the flip phone and no phone, and tickets for my grandparents for their anniversary, and they don't have a phone. Yankees game's hard, but Citi Field they'll print out 100 for you. They don't care. So
it's interesting how some will, some won't. So you actively collecting trying to collect all Messi's games played?
No, just a Messier goals.
Oh,
You know,
just
I
the
think
goal.
the games play way too much, and unfortunately, you know, his debut, some other idiot named Wayne Gretzky also debuted that same night, so that really makes it probably one that I don't have, and I don't know if I ever will, but we'll see. If I get every other goal, every other game, major Messier one before that, then that will be the final one. But you know, but I do have some nice ones though. I do have his first goal and his first professional goal, and you know, I'm definitely spoiled with some of that. So
yeah, let's go ahead. Let's see some of your collections since we're talking Rangers and Messier. If you have those handy, let's go ahead and take a look at kind of what you have.
So this is Messier's first professional goal. This is a full ticket when he was on the Cincinnati Stingers.
Wow.
And yeah, I think this is the only full. It's the only full I've ever seen. Before this, I had a stub, but you know, to find one of these was pretty hard.
His
And
first like minor league goal.
Yeah, his first professional goal. And this is his first NHL goal.
Now, is the first NHL goal, how tough is that one to find?
They're still pretty tough, you know, but most of the Edmonton stuff is pretty tough to get. You know, not to call them out, but Bradley Foote and Rod in Tampa, Rodville, they hoard them all. But, you know, it's amazing what they're able to find. But, you know, but that makes it fun too, because at least, you know, it's nice knowing that they're in the right hand sometimes. So, you know, because they're also big collectors, and you know, they're my go-to guys for certain things, you know, especially early Edmonton stuff that you know, I don't always have access to, but they, you know, especially Bradley, who lives there, is always able to get it. So, and as a Ranger fan, this here is one of my favorites of all time. This was the Game 6 against the Devils. The Rangers were down 3-2, and Messier went and guaranteed the win. It was on the cover of the New York Post, and Rangers were down 2-0 in that game. Kovalev scored, make it 2-1, and then a Messier hat trick to force Game 7. And then you get to Game 7, and then you have Stefan Matteau. So got a couple of these, and I have a couple signed too, but he signs all the time. His signed stuff isn't too rare at this point.
Did you attend that game, Stu?
What's that?
The Game 7, did you attend that?
No, I did not. That was a Friday night, and I'm Jewish, and my sister had her Friday night bat mitzvah that night, and I had it going on the VCR, not wanting to know anything, and I went upstairs around like 10:30 after I knew the game would be over to start from the beginning, and it was in the first overtime still. So I watched it live from that point, but I was not able to. Yeah, back then, the only games I got to that year were the first round against the Islanders at Nassau Coliseum. But again, being 20 years old, you know, I was, you know, in college and, you know, working, you know, it was those were expensive tickets here in New York to get. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, the ticket scalpers had a good summer then between the Knicks and the Rangers. So
back in the New York sports heyday, well, other than the Yankees being always good.
Yeah, and then the Yankees even that year should have won the World Series. You know, they had a great team in '94 before the strike or lockout, whatever it was. So,
do you have any other hockey ones you wanted to show?
I do. Yeah, let me see. So, you know, I do have. So I'll pick up. This is Wayne Gretzky's first NHL goal that I was able to get, and it has a horrible cut, but again, there's not too many of these out there. This is
that one has to have quite a bit of value, I'd imagine. I mean,
this is a very popular one. This is Gretzky's 50th goal in 39 games that I have, and you know, probably one of my favorite hockey ones that I've always been after for a long time is this one. This is Bobby Orr's flying goal, probably one of the most iconic goals in NHL history. You know, the one that they even built a statue outside Boston Garden or Fleet Center or TD Garden, whatever they call it now. So,
what would you say your most valuable ticket is?
You I do with the Nirvana last show. I'm not sure. This is Kurt Cobain's last show.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably up there. Along with some of the Gretzky stuff, I guess, and the Flying Goal, but and some of my wrestling stuff could definitely get up there in price too.
Oh.
So, but it depends. I mean. Sometimes you'll see a ticket, to the right place, right time, and you can't believe what you got for it. And other times, you try to sell something and you can't believe nobody wants it at this amazing price. So, it's hard to tell. It depends on the economy. It depends on the buyers. As much as we love them, there's not as many buyers out here looking for this as some of the other stuff out there, like cards and things like that. I was looking before just on eBay. I was playing around. I can't believe how many 52 Topps Manals are on eBay. Like there's, and I got on Facebook, I know is selling like 4 or 5 of them right now. He has, and I think there's over 1,500 graded and just from PSA. And you think like, wow, this most like, probably the most iconic baseball card ever. Something that, just even a PSA 1 probably goes for 50, 60 grand. And, but there's still so many of that compared to a ticket where, if it's in the hockey arena, the most it could be is 15,000 to begin with, and how many people held on to them over the years. Same with wrestling, especially before they went to stadiums. So, it's, it's supply and demand like everything else. And there's some stuff where absolutely I could work with the price, and there's other things that I'll throw it on eBay at crazy prices because I don't care if I ever sell it or not, If somebody wants to pay the right amount, then that's another story, But sometimes it's also, I put stuff on Instagram too like that where, I have it and, everything, like the wrestler, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase says, everybody has a price, everything, for the most part, I probably would sell, but it's not like with cards where, I could look at these comps and see, how many, what a 52 Mantle sold, you could see how many have sold and what prices. For some of these tickets, some of these have never sold or there are no comps for them. So, that kind of makes it, advantageous for me as a seller and sometimes very annoying as a buyer, depending what it is.
Yeah.
But, it works both ways. So, I don't know. I was going through stuff, like I got this. There's a DeMar Hamlin's from, the night he had the heart attack and stopped the game signed with Did We Win? I mean, you can't put a price on this really, it's whatever somebody's willing to pay for it type of thing. It's, because again, it's not, even though after the game the other night, a lot of Bills fans probably wish he wasn't there. Fortunately, being the 12th man
on the field.
But as a Jets fan, I didn't mind that.
So Sean was texting me before the show and he was like, man, I really want to see Stu's wrestling collection. And I was like, you know what? So do I.
Get it ready.
So probably like my best wrestling ticket is this one here. This is one of them. This is WrestleMania 1, signed by Hulk Hogan. This is the one that started all at Madison Square Garden. That's probably one of my favorite ones. One of my newest wrestling acquisitions was actually this. This is, I gotta get this grade. I'm not gonna get signed, I don't think, but this was the night Hulk Hogan beat the Iron Sheik for the belt. This is pretty much when like Hulkamania was born.
Is that so? Man, that ticket, because I'm a big wrestling fan.
Yeah,
and I not today wrestling, but old school wrestling, and I like to collect wrestling tickets. Where the Hogan Sheik ticket, is that a recent pickup for you?
Yeah, somewhat. It's like last couple of months, I want to say, or so. Yeah.
Because that one I think is up there, and it's so rare, and you just don't see them sell like at an auction house or everything. It's always seems to be, a lot of these wrestling tickets seem to be almost off auction site sales.
Yeah.
And, another good example is the Bash at the Beach where Hogan turned heel. I know Sean was a big moment for him.
I'm looking for that one. So
yeah, that's another one that some of these wrestling tickets that aren't like super mainstream, that are super knowledgeable, like WrestleMania 3, right? Like I have a WrestleMania 3. I grabbed some of my wrestling tickets.
Yeah, you WrestleMania 3 with.
You have them both. Hold on a sec.
Yeah,
is that Andre signed too?
No. This is Hogan just
okay,
saying Andre
okay.
Slam brother. No, I've never seen an Andre signed one.
I haven't either. Like, I had WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
This is kind of a
And
unique
these
one.
are also and these are also WrestleMania 3 Hogan one signed.
Hold on a sec, Stu. Can you put those back up?
Yeah, some other ones I got from about a year ago. I went down and met Hogan and got him to sign a couple of these. So, and even for that, I mean, there were 93,000 people at Silverdome. So, like, the WrestleMania 3 ticket's really cool, but it's not as uncommon as some of the other ones. Like this one I have in my hand here. This is very, pretty rare, and this one I don't see that much. And as a kid, this was amazing to me. This is the main event that was on NBC when the twin referees, Dave Hebner and Earl Hebner, and Andre the Giant ended up winning the belt and beating Hulk Hogan. I think this one is pretty rare because, again, this is at Market Square Arena, in Indianapolis. So what is that whole 15,000 people? And, how many people are hanging on to those tickets compared to Super Bowls and WrestleManias and World Series and, all this other stuff. So that's another one I've gotten, somewhat recently, I'd say the past few months or so. And I mean, other ones this is WrestleMania 6 here, signed by Hogan against the Ultimate Warrior. I got WrestleMania 18s against The Rock, signed by Hogan. A few of those. I have Undertaker throwing Mick Foley off the top of the cage in Hell in a Cell. So, but it's mostly wrestling stuff. That's the thing, the difference with wrestling. Like, anything pre-Hulk Hogan really isn't that sought after. It's not like baseball where people want Babe Ruth or hockey people want Gordie Howe. Nobody was really looking for Bruno Sammartino tickets or Gorgeous George tickets or things like that. Haystacks Calhoun, like, for so many people, wrestling started when we were growing up. And I think there's in a lot of ways, basketball is like that too. I mean, some people do collect Kareem, and obviously, the 100-point game is another level of tickets, which is on auction right now. I know I saw it recently. But, a lot of basketball started with Jordan and Bird and Magic, like those years. And, same thing with wrestling, like stuff that we grew up with as it was blowing up in the 80s. Kind of like set the standard for it in a lot of ways. I think with baseball, it didn't as much,
Yeah, that's a good point about wrestling. It does seem like wrestling was birthed when Hulk Hogan beat Iron Sheik. Then that's when the interest kind of exploded. And then the WrestleMania one, like you talked about, I actually picked this one up. I'll kind of bust out some of my favorite wrestling ones. I actually bought this at the this is the first one full, which I know is very rare. I bought it 2018 National. They're selling it for like 1,000, and I offered them 900. And it was some random auction house place, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll take it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And back then, I had no idea what it was worth. I just knew it was WrestleMania 1, and it was insanely rare. And even a ticket like this, this is the Montreal screw job when basically, the hitman Bret Hart got screwed by Vince McMahon because he had to give up the title before he went to WCW, which is a super cool one.
Yeah.
And, then after that, it's like WrestleMania 3, other big ones. Like we talked about, Hogan turns heel. Like Rock debuts. Do you collect debuts at all for any of your players?
It depends on who. I mean, I don't have it out here. I got it on my Instagram. A Roddy Piper Bird debut. This is a John Cena debut.
Oh,
which
see that one again?
Yeah, this is a full John Cena debut here.
Now, how rare is that?
I don't know. It's not that rare. I mean, it's somewhat rare, I guess, because again, it is an arena. I don't think most people kept them, but I don't know. I'm not as big on debuts because even still, they still wrestled other places before. Things like even John Cena, he did WWE shows, but not as John Cena. Like they had other stuff going on, and there's little things like that. But I don't know. Debuts in general, for the most part, I think don't have as high a ceiling as like first goals or big moments, things like that, historic moments. And unless it's somebody like a LeBron where you remember watching that debut because everybody knew what LeBron was going to be.
I feel like, give me your thoughts on. I feel like this is maybe the best debut ticket, and this I love this ticket even though it's pretty bland. And it's the Undertaker debut. I'm sure you watched that one or know. can know of that debut?
No, of course, yeah, it's a Survivor Series. Yeah, no, it's no, of course, yeah, and the Undertaker again. He's somebody kind of like Jordan, where there's so many different tickets you would need if you're like the real Undertaker fan. You want to get the streak, you want to get his debut, you want to get the Hell in a Cell, things like that. So, yeah. So when the debut was memorable for something like that, I think it's a bigger deal. But the same with sports. Like I love Don Mattingly as a Yankee fan, but his debut, I don't remember his debut as a Yankee fan. He was just, number 46 in left field or whatever. Like he wasn't Donnie Baseball yet. So like those things aren't as important to me as like, oh, his World Series home run in Game 2 of '95 because I was there and the stadium was shaking. So it's like, some of the debuts, I think the fact that us collectors turn these into rookie cards in some ways. Those prices are so high. A lot of them. It's not because I can't afford them or I don't think it's worth it. I just feel like, they don't mean as much to me, I guess, and as like a moment that I'm going to remember forever, unless it's like a Jordan or somebody who you knew coming in, or even though Jordan obviously wasn't as big as nobody knew it'd be that big, but LeBron's debut everybody remembers. Everybody watched Wemby's debut a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, but wrestling debuts, I don't go too crazy over right now. So,
yeah, I think the most expensive one, I don't know, the Rock debut. I have one of those. That's funny because if you were buying these back in the day, a Rock debut could be had. I mean, I think like this. I think I bought it for literally like $50 because it was just like, it's Survivor Series, right? Oh, it's nothing really happened, and I think that's what happened with a lot of people in debuts initially. Then they got crazy expensive, and they've come back down to earth. But Sean's the big MLB debut collector, and I feel like those are the best. We've talked about that a bunch because these guys have grinded all through the minors, and they finally made it, and their tickets are so rare because they'll show up on a random Tuesday night in September sometimes.
If you ask a baseball player what their most important moment of their career was, unless they won a championship, it's probably their debut.
Yeah.
The first time they set foot on the field.
Yeah, and wrestling is a weird one because these guys, they have what they call dark matches, and they maybe could debut at a dark match, which isn't a televised match. It's a match before the actual the taping starts. Like the Rock's debut, I think was it's like in Corpus Christi, I think, his dark match debut. And then he showed up on Survivor Series as Rocky Maivia. I think is that right, Stu? Rocky Maivia?
Maivia, yes.
And they, he was like, they call him the baby face, and they were pushing him real hard to be the next star. And then the crowd kind of turned on him. And then like a guy came to the show, and people were booing him and had a sign that literally said "Die Rocky, die."
Yeah,
like that's what the sign said. And like people started turning on him, and then he kind of went away, and then they came back as the Rock, and the rest is history.
If there's one thing wrestling fans don't want, it's somebody being shoved down your throat where the corporate executives want you to love this person. That's the quickest way to get the fans to hate you almost. With the current champion Roman Reigns, when he first, started out, you felt he was always getting that push and nobody liked him. The real wrestling fans or these, these marks or whatever are always very against it. The same thing with Cena too, for a long time. Fans hated Cena, even though he's so popular. The kids loved him, but adults hated him. But he made the money, and he did more Make-A-Wishes than anybody in history and type of thing. But it's weird how that works sometimes. So yeah, but luckily The Rock, they gave him the freedom to come out and be his own person. If you get a chance, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but when he was with the Nation of Domination and they were doing this interview, and I think I don't remember with Ron Simmons or whatever is talking, and Rock is just making faces at him and laughing at like that kind of like started him to realize like, wow, he should be on his own type of thing. And
it's kind of like I said, the timeline, the Hogan started off, and then in the 90s, the Attitude Era with The Rock and Stone Cold, which just took everything to another level. And Stone Cold has massive tickets. When he beat Jake the Snake, Austin 316 was born.
I just sold that one. Knowing the signing was, he just had a signing and it was signing tickets. So that's one of the ones that I just sold recently to I don't remember what I used that money for, or in the trade or whatever. But yeah, so certain things like that. I mean, and of course, the manias where him and The Rock fought each other have been very popular.
What about
I know that with Stone Cold, but then people want the more rare stuff. When did he bring out, the beer truck, or when did he, hit Vince McMahon with a toilet seat in the hospital bed, So people are always looking for like those iconic memories because when we were growing up, you remember these things as much. So, so the Monday Night Raws sometimes are much harder to get than the WrestleManias or the pay-per-views. But that first time he said 316 on that King of the Ring, that's a very hot ticket. Very hard.
Yeah, I saw Stone Cold did that signing. I was like, I don't have any Stone Cold tickets, but man, it seems like Hogan, Rock, Stone Cold are kind of the 1, 2, 3. I would guess of the most collected. Does that sound about right to you, Stu?
Yeah, no, definitely, I'd say so. Yeah, and Undertaker's definitely up there too.
Undertaker.
Yeah, Undertaker's up there too.
See all this knowledge we're dropping, Sean? Are you just soaking it in?
Some people are loving it, and other people on YouTube turning this off. Like, talk about baseball.
Yeah,
Stu,
so, all right.
Talk about Aaron Judge 62 home run ticket that I have.
Yep, Sean's turn. You can start breaking out the baseball tickets, and Sean can.
Yeah, do you have any baseball, Stu?
Baseball? What's that? What are you, an old man? No, I do have some baseball. I didn't bring that many out. I don't think. What did I have? I mean, as a Yankee fan, like I mostly, was more into Yankee stuff. I'd say. I showed you the Mattingly home run from game 2. I had a few others. I don't know where I put them now because you see how unorganized I am, and this is me knowing I was going to be doing this. I'm still unorganized.
Well, you ran to the safety.
Yeah, here's one of my favorite. Here's one of my favorite ones. This is a red. Here's a one, Reggie Game 6, which isn't that rare a ticket, but I love the autograph with all the inscriptions from his 3 home runs. As a Yankee fan, this is, obviously for anybody an iconic moment. But
that's a great example of a big event that happened at home where everybody basically there's a lot of those out there because it was such a big moment and all the fans, especially New Yorkers, basically saved it because it was so huge. Where, the other end, like the Jordan, the shot in Utah, there's a good amount of tickets, but man, there's a lot of Reggies out there.
Yeah. Here's one. This is Guidry's 18 strikeouts. This is a full ticket from that game. Where this kind of started nice. The fans clapping with 2 strikes, which now everybody does this, but it kind of started with this game even almost. And this is a full ticket from that night. So as a Yankee fan, to me, Guidry's night, it was better than any Kerry Wood 20 strikeouts or Clemens 20 strikeouts just because it was a Yankee and it was at home and it was at Yankee Stadium. And, it kind of, means a lot more to us New Yorkers type of thing. Obviously, with being in New York, all Jeter tickets are always big. Oh, there's the flip play.
Oh, the flip.
Yeah, I just sold the box office version of this, but this is my season ticket holder version of it. Obviously, being a New Yorker, this is the game 3 from the 2001 World Series with George Bush threw out the first pitch. With somewhere in here, I got the Piazza home run ticket. Against the Braves. I'm a Yankee fan. You can't help but appreciate what an amazing moment that was. Just being in New York City at that point.
Yeah,
and seeing what it did for the city.
What are the epic Yankee games that you attended?
I was at Dwight Gooden's no-hitter, which we went opening day that year. I think it was against Oakland, and it snowed, like real heavy snow, like where you couldn't believe it was like they were playing in it. But the flakes were so big, though, you were able to play. It wasn't like a blizzard. And during the game, like maybe in the 6th, 7th inning, George Steinbrenner put on the scoreboard, anybody who's here could get free tickets to another game. And I think one was the White Sox, maybe one was the Twins, and one was against Seattle. So me and my friends were there, like, let's go grab the Seattle one in May. We get to see Ken Griffey Jr. That was like a big thing. And we went to the box office right after the game, got free tickets, and that ended up being Gooden's no-hitter.
Yeah.
That
was what, 96?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the tickets, had these holes punched in them, because they were free tickets, so they punched these holes in them, or whatever. But that was definitely a cool one. I was at the clincher in '99 when they beat the Braves. But even with the World Series games and no hitters, there was nothing louder than the '95 playoffs. So, they lost in 5 to Seattle. Obviously, Griffey in the slide. But that game, that game too, Mattingly's only postseason home run, and Leyritz won in the 15th inning.
That was an epic series.
And this is a ticket. This is the game 2 ticket with Mattingly, and being there in the stadium and the concrete just shaking. Like I've like I said, I've been to 3 Stanley Cup clinchers. I've been to all sports, wrestling. I've never been in a louder place than Yankee Stadium that night, though. So
I can tell you, Stu, that the Kingdom was the same way when they came back to Seattle and had to win 3 in a row, and they did.
Yeah.
So were you working, or did you attend the slot, or were you working then?
No, I was just I was a fan then, and I went to game 3, and then game 4 and 5 where I just watched at home. But man, yeah, that series. I could rewatch that entire series again. Every game was just incredible, including the Leyritz and the 16 inning, or what was it, 14, 15 innings, something like
15th inning, yeah. I think Tim Belcher, was the pitcher then. I think Tim Belcher.
When I forget who it was, they hit it off the wall and Alex Diaz threw him out. Would have been the winning run. Yeah.
And as a Yankee fan, for me, because I was born in '74, so those '70s, the really first postseason Yankees I remember was '81. I was 7 years old when they lost to the Dodgers and Fernando Valenzuela. Which I'm sure Justin Sutterfield owns every one of those Dodger tickets. But so for me, this was like the first time that I got to see the Yankees in the postseason, and those games in some ways were even better. Because they lost that and everything that happened, that led to, I think if they would have won that series, I don't know if they would have gone on to win in '96 and '98, '99, 2000, and all that. But a lot of times teams go through that. They go through these horrible losses, and it helps them in the future. So, it's definitely cool seeing that and seeing Mattingly. So that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
So Stu, when you you mostly collect, but sometimes when you do sell and sometimes trade, like when you sell your tickets, where do you usually sell them?
Sometimes it depends. Like it's so much easier to buy than sell. It's obviously
No kidding.
Like somebody posts something, oh yeah, I'll buy that. Who cares? Here's give me your PayPal, boom, done. But to sell it, I gotta take a good picture of it. I gotta dig it out because I'm unorganized. I gotta post the photos, then I gotta pack it nicely, and I gotta ship it, and I ain't got time for that. It's hard for me to do that. I'm a full-time teacher in New York City. I got a 4-year-old son with special needs. I'm a busy guy. So, but when I do sell stuff, like usually I do put stuff on eBay. I do make posts in boogers and things like that. Like even today, like I sold a ticket on eBay for like $20. It was an Alonso home run ticket, and like it had best offer. A guy didn't even give me an offer. I just bought it for $20. And I'm like, fuck, now I got it. How long it's going to take me now to search through my stuff and look for this ticket? I don't have a Pete Alonso box or whatever. Like,
I'm the same exact way. And I have so many tickets that people want or people need, and, they're $5, $10, $15. And I'd be happy to get it for them, but it's just such a hassle.
I know. And somebody got mad at me, so mad at me once because they said, like, if you tell me the date, like, I'm not going to search for like a random ticket as much as I'm going to search for something if I know, it's worth my time almost, The time's going to take me to find a $5 ticket. I'd rather put that time to find somebody a $500 ticket. And, just
plus the mail and taking it to the mailbox and
insurance and who's it going to? And in my head, what if they say they didn't get the ticket, or what if they say I replaced it with something else? I'm always paranoid about the scammers, especially on eBay too and stuff, But when people I know here, it's not as bad, but doing big tickets, so that's always a fear. So Always like try to video it as best I can, video me packing it into the box and handing it to the person at the post office,
that's a big one,
just in case. But for the most part, I've been very lucky with that. Knock wood. I've never, I haven't been in that position where anybody's called me out or something like that, or said, oh, they didn't get it, or but that's always a scary thing, with big ticket items. So
yeah. Where do you like to find tickets the most? Is it just primary auctions, or do you have a network of people that you work with?
No, it's just, but for the most part, it's just Facebook and eBay, things like that. I wish I had the time to put out ads in different cities and stuff, saying, "Hey, I'm buying your stuff." Like I saw somebody doing it. It keeps coming up. Somebody keeps writing in different cities, like, "Oh, I'm working on a project. I want your Mariners tickets." Or, "I'm working on a project. I want your, your Denver tickets," whatever it is. When I first started out, I loved buying lots. I used to love it. Like, it was like I loved doing the research on it, hoping I was going to find, that, buying this big Seattle lot. There'll be a Griffey debut in there or something, or there'll be something like that.
Yeah.
But even back then, people knew what they were doing, though. Saying, they knew what tickets to put on top to make it look like, or things like that.
It's gotten a lot more difficult now, though.
Yeah. Oh my God. Now even like if somebody has one of these lots on eBay, I'll just look at their other posts, so if they know what they're doing with tickets,
right.
or not.
I do the same thing, and it's almost like, I don't know. Tell me what you think about this. It's almost like some people intentionally don't mention what it is because they know that people will find it, and then they'll get like snipe bids that are much higher, thinking that if nobody's going to know about this, so I'll just put in a high snipe bid and then I'll win it. And if two people do that, then it goes for way more than anybody expected. So it's almost like sometimes
I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if people are that smart to do that, in some ways.
I just gave it away then.
There was a Cincinnati Reds ticket lot like that a month or two ago.
That was
Barry
me.
Larkin debut, right?
That was me.
Oh, it was Barry Larkin?
Yeah.
You bought it, or are you selling it?
I won it.
Oh, you won it. Okay, but it didn't say Barry Larkin debut, right?
No, but it definitely sold for more than it would have had they sold it as a Barry Larkin debut.
Really?
Right around probably what.
I guess at that point you just need a few people who knew what they were doing, but I'm sure there are Barry Larkin diehard fans who were probably looking for that ticket and never saw it.
There were two people who bid high on it. I know who the other one was, and we talked about it afterwards.
Yeah,
and that that we both really wanted it, and that's all it took.
Yeah. That sometimes that's all it takes. You only need two people. I'd rather have two people who really want it than 100 people who are like, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah.
What you got to give us your thoughts on making trades.
So like we were talking earlier before the show went on. I do like making trades, especially if it's something I have doubles of. Like I love doing it, but because I know a lot of the people here and I know how what strong collectors they are, sometimes it's hard for me to make a trade without feeling I'm getting ripped off in some way. But also the thing with trades or even selling items and stuff, it's it used to bother me when I would sell a ticket to somebody for $500 or whatever it was, or even $100. And then as soon as I get it, a couple of days later, I see it on eBay for 10 times the price. And it makes me think, wow, was I suckered? Did I do something? Did I not value this ticket right?
Yeah.
It's just part of the business, and it had to part of the hobby, and I had to just, suck it up and be like, I took the money, it's fine, or I took the trade, whatever it was, and I got to let go of it. It's very hard.
Stu, here's how I interpret the trading and getting ripped off is I don't mind getting ripped off if I'm acquiring something that I wouldn't otherwise be able to acquire. If it's something that you could never find elsewhere, or it might be years before you see another one, then you actually do have to give up sometimes more than it's worth.
No, definitely. Listen, like I said earlier, I could sell a 52 mantle today, and there's probably another 20 on eBay right now.
Yeah.
For like, or whatever it is. But with some of the tickets I have, like I know if I sell this one or trade it, I might not see one again for years and years. It took me a long time to get the Bobby Orr flying goal. It took me a long time to get Hogan winning the belt. These aren't ones that come up a lot.
I think
So,
that's what we've talked about that before.
I think actually you just
card.
reminded me when I sold the Austin 316. I think it was to help get the Hogan wins the belt.
Yeah.
Because they kind of like, and I felt I had a better chance of, I don't know when I'd find another Hogan wins the belt for the first time one. So
Yeah.
that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Tickets like, the super rare ones like the Hogan belt, they don't come up for sale. And if they do and they're priced wrong, they'll be gone in 2 seconds. So the only way to acquire one is to trade with somebody who really wants something more than what they currently own in that ticket. And that's kind of part of this whole ticket world. And Sean, you've spoken about that before, where you'll buy items that you don't collect, but it's ammo for future things that you do want.
Yeah. I wouldn't overpay for them, but definitely have a lot of those things. And my interests kind of change over time too. So something that I'm not as interested in anymore that I used to be interested in, then I'm happy to trade it because I don't really care about it anymore. So that too.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a balancing act in a lot of ways. It's figuring out, what do you want, what do you want to keep, or I'm glad that it's a hobby that I enjoy and love, and I'm not trying to pay my rent with it or feed my children with it. That would it would create a lot of more issues doing this, I think, and it would take a lot of the fun out of it for me.
Yeah.
Not knocking the guys that do it, because some guys are doing it very well. I mean, I don't know. I keep bringing up Justin because he's my idol when it comes to tickets in a lot of ways. But he's in every auction is his stuff. eBay constantly. His Instagram is full of it.
It's a full-time job.
He's got a good question. So the answer to this question: is there a Hulk Hogan debut ticket? If so, where was it at? Do you know the information?
No idea. I mean, but are we talking like WWF? Or are we talking like AWA before that? We're talking Japan, like And that's the thing. There's so many different aspects with that. But no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, honestly.
Yeah, it's like I said, wrestling is just so many different layers between the dark matches and the other, regionals. They, back before WWF, they used to have all these different regional companies all over throughout the U.S. And there's actually a movie coming up, The Iron Claw, talking about the
Von Erichs.
Von Erichs, straight out of Texas.
And MJF is in it, and he was a producer for any AEW fans. MJF, Maxwell Jacob.
It'll be interesting if if this movie's really big, if it will affect collectors. Start collecting Von Erich items, or if there's some famous match in the movie, like people will start seeking out that the ticket from that match.
Yes, and that's amazing. Also, like what tickets do, when it comes to movies or things like that. I don't think I have it here, but after seeing Moneyball and loving Moneyball, I wanted the 20th win in a row ticket, things like that. It was just the anniversary of Rudy, and you saw Dan Ravel with all of his signed Rudy tickets and programs and things like that.
Yeah,
but I love how like that aspect of sports and TV shows. People want the Dodger game with Curb Your Enthusiasm, or the Laker game with Entourage, or things like that. I love, because I love movies, I love TV, I love when those worlds can collide in some ways. It's
okay, Stu. I have a perfect segue for that, because this is one that I just picked up, and you'll love it. It's actually a Texas Rangers ticket against Tampa Bay Devil Rays, 1999, September 18th. Do you know this?
September. I do not. I do not.
Jim Morris debut. Do you know Jim Morris?
No.
He's the rookie, Dennis Quaid.
Oh, okay. Oh, very cool. See, there you go. Yeah. I know the movie. I never saw the movie. I know.
Shout out to P Daddy. He's watching now. He's the one who hooked me up with it. So that's one I've wanted for a long time. And
that's going deep.
Yeah.
Well, but that's when you love the movie. I love that it could do that. Like I love when Harry Met Sally, and I wanted the ticket from the Giants game that they went to. When he's when he said you made a woman meow, that was like at the Giants game type of thing. But then when you research it, like, they filmed at a Bills game, so trying to find that Bills ticket, things like that. It's,
a big one is the Back to the Future football game ticket.
Oh yeah. That Ferris Bueller tickets are very big, obviously. Yeah, then it was just the anniversary of that the Back to the Future 2 game. I know a few people who posted that. So and that makes it more fun too in some ways. So
Yeah.
In some ways, these movies don't help. I mean, hopefully the Von Erich one will, but there's been plenty of movies about other people where it hasn't. I don't know. I don't think Kurt Warner tickets took a big rise because of the movie. But if you never know. So
like the Rudy tickets were worthless before that movie came out, and now they're basically $500 to $1,000, minimum for a decent one.
Yeah, I got the Jerry Maguire Cowboys Arizona Cardinals game. I was able to get that one, the Monday Night Football game when they filmed Rod Tidwell in the end zone. I want that Field of Dreams Fenway ticket. I don't have that one. No, that's one I want to get one day. But it's always nice because my son's 4. One day when he's 15, we're gonna watch Field of Dreams, and then I could also say, oh, and here's the ticket where they filmed it. It adds something much more to it. So
yeah.
You Stu, Justin saying you got some great concert tickets. You got any other than the Nirvana one? You got any others you haven't shown?
No, other concert. I don't know, Justin. What else do I have? I don't even know. He probably knows. He knows my stuff more.
You know where they're at
all the time too. People write me for a ticket. I'm like, I don't have. Like, yes, you do. And they show me a post, a screenshot. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do. I gotta look for it.
I gotta find it.
No, whatever. I have a bunch of other Nirvana ones. Last show in America. Last show in North America in Vancouver. I have the Queen Freddie Mercury last show, but that's not too uncommon. What else do I have? I don't know. Stuff I've been to also, like, I think that's part of it also, like, again, things I've been to. So this is Woodstock 99, which isn't like a hard to find ticket, but I was there.
Can you pull that one up again?
Yeah. So Woodstock 99, this is with the Chili Peppers and the Fire. And it's not like an crazy expensive ticket or anything, but I was there. So that goes with the memories. I was there, for the Saturday night when it was Limp Bizkit and Rage Against the Machine, then Metallica. Me and my friends, I was 24, 25 years old in the mosh pit there. Like, being able to, not just saying, oh, I saw on TV, but I was there and here's a ticket to it. Whether it's my ticket or not doesn't always matter as much, because I probably had a cheap box office one, but
was that, I know you weren't there. I guess you weren't there for the craziness on Sunday, but watching the documentaries and all that, the Saturday night looked insane also, especially when Limp Bizkit. Was it insane as it looked? And
it was, and it was amazing, and I would do it again. And so there are 2 documentaries. I know Bill Simmons, The Ringer, did one, and maybe Netflix did another one. And there were 100,000 people there. There's definitely going to be some guys with wrong intentions doing the wrong things, but I think they really didn't represent it right. Because I think for the most part, it was a great time. Honestly, like I had a great time there, and most people did. And obviously, there were bad things that happened, which is so unfortunate. But it wasn't like everybody was there just to grope women and do drugs or things like that.
Right.
It kind of, in some ways, I hate that it's been thought of that way. So, here's my going back to baseball. This is the Piazza home run against the Braves after 9/11, the first home game. That's a hot ticket. People always want that.
Yeah.
So, but no, I don't have concert tickets like Justin does. So I don't have every Beatles Shea Stadium one. So
right. Stu, how do you organize all of it? Is it just all sitting in big piles, or what do you?
So the good stuff I keep in the bank in a safety deposit box.
Yeah.
So I keep a lot of stuff there. I try to get organized a lot of times, but they're mostly in the slabbed ones are in some boxes. I try to keep them at least organized by sport, type of thing. But if all tickets were like baseball cards where they're all the same size, it would be so much easier.
Yeah.
I like Rod showed me his albums and how everything is in now, but so many tickets from one game to the next, especially with road games, are totally different sizes. I mean, even PSA will slab the same ticket. I have the same tickets, in different size slabs.
Yeah, I was just complaining to Matt about this because same things happen to me, and I like to have the same kind of idea of tickets right next to each other, but one's bigger and then one's little, and it's the same ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I have 86 Game 6 Buckner tickets, and some are like they're different sizes. Like, how am I supposed to organize that way?
Yeah.
Well, I honestly, I wish I could send all my tickets to somebody and they could organize it all for me on a spreadsheet and take care of all that for me, do all the research, do that. But I don't know. Maybe one day when I'm retired, I'll be able to get more organized. But organization is one of my biggest faults. It's one of the biggest things I struggle with here when it comes to tickets. So
I think one of the pieces of advice I give is that you have to organize it when you receive it. You have to put it in whatever kind of structure you have. Because if you
don't, I don't even label them all properly. I forget what I have sometimes. I'm like, oh, why did I get this ticket? What is this? What is the significance of it? That's happened so many times.
Yeah.
And then I try to go through my eBay purchases, or I try to go through my Facebook messengers, like, oh, why did I buy this ticket? Especially the ones from Guy Mitchell, because he does all the research on them, and I forget what they are a lot of times. So I don't know.
Get a label gun or a label maker first.
I have one. I have, but the mail comes. I quickly open it. I throw in the back. I forget what I ordered.
Oh, yeah, that looks cool.
I shouldn't admit this, but I forget a lot of stuff that I bought, and I'm sure I've paid for stuff that I haven't gotten over the years just because I don't remember, unless it's something big. But when you're buying, little tickets here or there, but I don't know. Yeah, no, Sean, getting organized. I should label them right away. Like, here's a bird. These are some hockey tickets. These are all some Ranger tickets here from the early '80s and the late '70s. Now, one of these is Eddie Jacobin's first game back at the Garden when he was with Detroit, when he was crying. One of these is Dennis Potvin breaking Ulf Nilsson's ankle, which started the whole Potvin sucks thing, which has been a huge thing for Ranger fans. But again, like, I don't even know. I can't even see.
It's tough to just research those too, because it's not like you just go look at the box score and figure it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, luckily, what's the name? Tom Major came across all these great Ranger tickets that were all stuck in an album. So they all have paper loss like these. A lot of them have paper loss. So a lot of ones that I never got, I was able to get from him. But again, they're not labeled. And I know people, I could hook it up to a printer and do the stickers and do all stuff. But I don't know. Hopefully one day. But that makes it fun too, sometimes. Like, I'm going through stuff, I forgot I had this,
When we're talking about storing tickets, Stu has a safe deposit box that he puts his high valuable ones in.
Yeah.
Do you have anywhere? I mean, what do you do? Do you recommend doing anything?
Well, it depends on how you have it. I definitely have the real high value ones off site, and then I have a home safe also. And then, but then recently, it's funny you bring this up, because recently I spent way too much time looking for a used dresser that had the right size of drawers that I could put slabs in, and different, like the tall one. So the tall one would have to be a file cabinet size dresser drawer, and then the middle size one, and then a small one. And I spent hours and hours and hours looking for something. I finally found something, but it wasn't used. I had to buy it new, but it's on its way. and so I'm going to have all my slabs in one, like, large dresser that will just be in my office.
I found some good things, like like the Container Store, stuff like this. Let me see, where they actually fit pretty nicely, and they have all sorts of different, so if it's, when you're just stacking things one after another, it works pretty good. And you can find the different sizes. I like the stuff like
that. And my Michaels, they sell the picture boxes. Those are good for ones that are like just in soft plastic and not a big deal.
Yeah.
So I try to do that, but I will say this for anybody listening: the fireproof safes that you could get at Home Depot, things like that. I've had too many firemen and people tell me over the years that if the fire's strong enough, it's not going to protect your stuff.
Yeah. So I think I have one of those, and it was pretty expensive. But now, like I said, I want my stuff in my house so I can look at them. Like, oh yeah, I have this. This is cool. But then if you don't have it at the house, it's probably safer, but you can't, put your eye.
TD Bank, because they're open every day during the week. My safety deposit box, so I could get to there at night. I can get there on weekends. So they have better hours than most of the other banks around here in New York. So
we had a couple questions for you, Stu. One was, Stu, what's your biggest grail you've yet to get?
As far as realistic ones, probably the Hogan heel turn. Ones that I would love to have, but I doubt I ever will. With probably a Jackie debut, the Gretzky debut, or to me, the Messier debut. Those are probably two of them. Rangers Montreal, when Jacques Plante wore a mask for the first time, is something I've been after for a long time that I've never seen. First person to wear a mask during a game. Probably some of those. I mean, but as far as there's difference between tickets I would love to have and like realistic ones. Even though if you would have asked me 5 years ago, would I have half of these tickets, I probably wouldn't have said no. So it's amazing how that works, and even how I've switched from because I've always been into cards and autographs and memorabilia, and how it switched to tickets and it's really stuck. And now it's like the cards and memorabilia don't mean as much to me in some ways. So yeah.
The Hogan heel turn, I remember the guy posted one on Facebook, and you were, correct me if I'm wrong, a little unhappy about how that all went down.
So, I mean, yeah. So the guy had it. I mean, it wasn't he wasn't sure if he was going to sell or not, and we had it in writing. He said, before you do anything, you can let me know what the offer is. I don't remember if I had enough money at the time. I don't know if it was $2,000, $5,000, whatever it was. And he never did, and he just sold it without getting back to me. And it was at a price that I would have paid, and even gotten over. So, I understand, when somebody offers you a price, if you say no to it, it's like Shark Tank, if you say no to the deal right there, you might not get another one. So he did that. But yeah, sometimes I could be a little crying, whiny bitch sometimes when it comes to this stuff. I'll admit it. I know. But
because I think I was part of that too, where I messaged them. And one thing I've learned now is when people post NFS/NFT, it doesn't matter. As the $1 Million Man would say, everybody has a price. And if you come to somebody that says NFS NFT and you bring a real deal price, then it's really not it really is for sale magically.
Yeah. Listen, that happened with the Maguire debut that created a lot of drama. But also, if you do that, you got to pay the price. And 90% of the time that happens, you're getting kicked out of boogers. So it's usually not worth it. So to lose that forum, it's a big thing. Honestly, I'm very grateful for that Facebook group. It's it's definitely the PSA 10 of ticket groups. So
yeah. I can't think of how many great tickets I've gotten directly or indirectly from that group.
Yeah, and it's nice when people know you want it and they want to do the right thing by you because they know you're not just looking to flip it and sell it. I've had a lot of people come to me saying, "Listen, I know you collect Messier. I know you're a Yankee fan. And they're more willing. And I'm the same way. If I'm a seller, if I know that this means a lot to you, listen, if I get something Jordan, obviously Andrew's the guy I go to. If I get Kobe, I'll go to Justin, because I know that they want it and it's going to mean more to them in some ways,
Yeah.
But there are plenty of other guys who just want to get stuff and then quickly flip it and try to make money on it. And, those guys are all sitting on Wander Franco tickets right now. So, I hope Wander Franco's not listening to this.
What was your favorite Yankee ticket you own? Stu P. Daddy was asking.
Yeah, probably the good one because I was there. The Jim Abbott no hitter I have two of. I just I remember watching that. Oh, my George Brett ticket. Oh, I didn't even show this one yet. This is one of my favorites that I just got back from PSA. Where did I put this one? This one here. And again, even though I wasn't there, but I remember watching this, with my father at my grandparents' house. This is this is a full ticket of the Pine Tar game signed by George Brett. Wow. With the inscription Pine Tar game.
Wow, that one's really nice. Like that display is really, really nice.
Yeah, I don't want to. I can't believe it's only graded a 3 on the ticket. I mean, I don't want to knock PSA and get Matt Fuller all mad at me, but.
Well, he doesn't do the grading.
It happens sometimes.
You were watching that one live?
I was watching that game live. Yep. The Rigetti no hitter I watched live. So as far as the ones. Those mean more to me than any of the Mantle stuff because I didn't see Mantle. I didn't see DiMaggio. I didn't see Lou Gehrig. I mean, of course, if somebody offered me the luckiest day speech, I would take it. If somebody offered me Babe Ruth 3 home run, of course, I'd want it. But the fact that I don't see him and I don't have that memory of them, the ones that I remember mean a lot to me, or ones at least that were somewhat in that time, even 70s Yankees, even if I don't remember a lot. I have Thurman's last game. things like that. So yeah, the Guidry one I showed before. So yeah.
Well, you have a heck of a collection, Stu.
Thanks, man.
Sean, did you have any items you were wanting to show?
I brought these sleeves that I wanted to go over.
Yeah.
If you
so
want,
I actually asked this question on boogers because with Beckett coming out, some items don't fit the normal sleeves. So I was like, hey, and then Sean's like, this is what you use.
Yeah.
These are the sleeves that people ask about where you get them to cover your tickets. I highly recommend using these.
Yeah, I went through this same thing. So I bought some and they didn't fit or whatever. So then I kind of studied it and figured it out. But I bought these and they work great. So the hardest, the tall ones, the long ones, they work the same for both. And it's the PSA, the supersize, I guess. That's the one that it works for the tall Beckett and the tall PSA ones. And then the medium size for Beckett is this. It's called the graded index and postcard holders. This fits perfectly.
And what's the company's name again?
It's the Superior Fit Innovation. This is what everybody gets, right?
I know they're one of the, I think there's another outfit out there, like on eBay, you can get stuff.
Yeah. So Superior Fit, and then it's the Beckett graded index postcard holders. This is for the medium Beckett one. And then the medium PSA one, which is kind of hard to figure out too, is this one, graded tall boy sports cards index and postcard holders. And that fits the medium PSA one really well. And then the small Beckett one is easy because it's just the Beckett cards.
Right.
So those are the ones, and they all fit great for PSA and Beckett. But I've done the same thing where I've gotten them and they're too big and it kind of in a baggie and it no good. But yeah, I like those too. I like them to protect it, but also because it's easier to kind of thumb through them when you have them all in sleeves versus when they're like sitting in because they kind of yeah. So yeah, that's the answer.
The only thing else really going on this week that I wanted to show, we really won't dive into it much, is there's the Leland's auction coming up. So let me pull this up real quick. Check that out. There's a lot of really great items from basically freaking Ali Frazier, Kobe first point, first Kentucky Derby, another Willie Mays the catch. Stu, do you ever get in on any of the big auction house stuff? Do you ever buy any items from auction houses?
Sometimes. Sometimes I do. There hasn't been too many times where there's been something on there that I felt, I needed that bad that I couldn't get. But I've gotten some great deals on there at times. Classic auctions is more of a hockey thing than anything else. And a lot of times tickets don't seem to go as high there as other places. I'll be honest, the George Brett full ticket I got from a Steiner auction from Collectibles Exchange at like a ridiculously low price. Like I'm almost embarrassed to say because I don't want people knowing what I paid for it, kind of thing. But like lower tine any Pine Tar Stub basically sold for. I got that for. But I always check them out, and then I think like, all right, wow, I got 3 weeks till this auction ends. What can I sell to get the 100-point game? What can I sell to make a real offer on that? Every time I see a Jackie up there, I'm like, can I pull this together? Can I move enough stuff and make enough things happen? And how much do I have left on this credit card? Can I try to make it work? But it's very rare that I end up doing that. So, but that's a big thing. So. Yeah, but once in a while I do like to, and I hate it when something goes to auction and I didn't know about it, because there's too many auctions too. It's really hard to keep track of it. I mean, for something like Darren Ravel, that's his full-time job to always know, okay, there's Iconic, there's Hunt, there's REA, there's, everything going on with Gold and Heritage. There's too much sometimes. And, usually I'll just search, ticket PSA, because if I just do ticket, well, the football cards come up.
Yeah, that's annoying. I know.
So a lot of times, I'll search them and things like that, and I get these daily auction things from other places. It's hard to keep up on them. I don't know who had the Wilt 100 that's up now. Was that Heritage maybe or somebody?
Leland's, wasn't it?
I think I saw that.
Yeah, that was that Leland's? I know it's
Maybe, I don't remember.
somewhere. Heritage, has a monster auction going on too. We already touched on that. Basically, that's ending this weekend. So between Leland's and Heritage, check those out. There's some monster tickets in all of them. And just some big items from the Jordan debut to you got the Wilt 100, I believe. Like I said, I was trying to find it in Leland's, but it's not pulling up right now. But yeah, check those two auction houses out. And really, that's kind of it. I mean, any other questions? I know we got Stu. Have anything pre 1970?
Yeah, I have some stuff, not too much. I just had it out to take a picture of the Jesse Owens ticket. I know somebody was posting about that for the gold medal, the second gold medal, which I had. A couple of stuff like that. This is, by the way, really quick, just since it's here. This is 2019 Masters with Tiger. And, these, again, aren't too hard to find this Sunday, but this is the day we brought my son home. And for his first day at home, we sat and we watched Tiger together. So, again, the tickets that, I could connect with, on more than just a level of what they're worth or something like that. Here's the Jesse Owens one. This is a second gold medal here, which apparently I found out today is one of the hardest ones to get, according to Justin. But so like I said, Justin, I did offer you this for your Kobe debut, and I'm still willing to do that deal. So let me know.
Get back to me.
Yeah, he wanted me to mention that the REA has an auction. It's one of the best. He probably has some items in there.
Do you guys get the REA catalog sent to you?
I think
not yet. I usually get the Heritage one. I haven't got the REA one.
The REA one is like a phone book.
I know.
It's so heavy, and I can't understand how they afford that mailing.
Especially since 90% of it has to be 99% of the people just go look online. They don't wait for the catalog and flip through the catalog. I don't think that those are necessary.
Yeah, I'm always shocked when I get how much money it takes to print it. They're beautiful, full color, glossy, and everything. I'm shocked about that. Oh, someone just said the Wilt 100 is on golden.
Yeah,
of course it is. So we'll see it on Netflix eventually.
Yeah, golden's coming up, I think, in a week. But yeah, just in the next couple of weeks, there's just some monster stuff. I haven't really checked. I looked at the REA one briefly, but curious to see what some of these go for. You have to see if we win any of these. Stu, is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I don't think so. Just I don't know. I think just being here just made me appreciate, not just the hobby itself, but the people involved too. So often I don't see what they look like, or know what they sound like. I've only met a few people over the years, and it definitely adds something to it. When you're on Facebook, a lot of people don't even have their faces in their profile picture. It could be a sports thing or their kid or stuff like that. But I think doing more of this, or the times where I actually get to talk to people about other things than tickets, building those relationships is something great, and I'm very glad to be part of that, and glad I'm not thought of as like the scammer or somebody trying to get over on people or being too greedy, stuff like that. So
reputation is everything in this hobby,
especially with this. With cards, you get kicked out of a card group, it's no big deal. There's a billion others,
but everybody knows you.
And I take that seriously, my reputation, my word, how I make deals, how I package stuff, and take ownership if I fuck up with something. I really, try to do it. But I've seen it from the people who, have what I want. If I want what they, if I want what they have, I got to do what they do. And, that's how they run their life and their business. And, that's the reason it's the right thing to do. So,
so a lot of high character guys in the ticket world.
Yeah, for sure. Are you going to the National next year?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I went to the one in AC. I missed the last one. It's a lot to go through. I've been in nationals, I've been in shows. But is there going to be something there though that I can't just find online? Like that's part.
You're right. Probably not, but there will be people there, just like you were saying, that you can meet in person and talk to and network with, and you never know what's going to happen from that.
No, I understand. Yeah. So, there's that part too. But also, if I go, then I'm going to end up spending ridiculous money on stuff I probably don't need.
That's real.
And it's a big thing. It's like, what do I travel? Do I drive there? Where's next year? Cleveland. Cleveland. So I'm in New York. Do I drive? Do I bring everything with me? Do I bring some stuff with me? Do I set up at a table? I've been doing card shows, for a long time. I do shows, here in New York every once in a while with tickets. There's all that aspect too. It's like, do I want to be walking through these halls or into my hotel with this kind of stuff? There's always that aspect to it too. If I want to go get autographs, who's going to watch my stuff? Where do I do with my table? And I have to get there early. Darren Revelle says, the best days for the shows before they open. Like those things. So I don't know. Luckily I'm a teacher. I'm off during the summer, so I could definitely make it happen. But so it's something to think about. But definitely want to do it with somebody or knowing, somebody else will be there where.
We'll be there.
But even just to go to the bathroom or whatever, things like that. Like there's someone. It's like if I set up at a table, so it's a lot. So all right.
Well, P Daddy says Stu sounds like Animal from the Road Warriors.
I don't know about that, but all right.
Good way to finish the show.
Does a great job tonight, Stu, and I would have to agree. But yeah, I think we've kind of covered a lot of bases, and Stu, I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
It's an honor. It's my pleasure. And I appreciate you guys for doing this, because what you guys are doing, you're spreading the message, of tickets, and what a great thing it is. I don't want to keep bringing it up, but a lot of people knock down Revelle because, but what he's done and what some of these other influencers have done to show tickets, it's helped us all. The more people know about it, I think it's I love that it's our secret, it's our little niche, but the more people know about it, it helps us more too. So yeah, I love it.
For sure.
So,
well, I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who was watching. Probably be back, I would guess, in a couple weeks. Might have some good info on crazy trade I did. Still getting finalized. But yeah, hopefully everybody has a happy Thanksgiving if we don't do a show by then. And once again, Stu, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, boys. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good night.
Good night, guys.